This story is called EVERETT Anderson's Goodbye. It's a story about a child's grief. This book was written by Lucille Clifton and was illustrated by Grifalconi. The great American poet Lucille Clifton wrote 20 books for young readers in her lifetime. 8 of those were Everett Anderson books. Some of them are funny, some of them are adventures. This is a very sad one. The story is called Everett Anderson's Goodbye, and the illustrations for Lucille Clifton's book were beautifully done by Grifalconi. This book won the Coretta Scott King Award. And Lucille Clifton dedicated this book for my sad friends. The Swiss physician, Dr. Elizabeth Kubler-Ross, studied what happens when human beings have to grieve the loss of someone they love. And in her work, she identified 5 stages. Lucille Clifton references those 5 stages here. Number 1, denial. Number 2, anger. Number 3, bargaining. Number 4, depression. Number 5, acceptance. The 5 stages of grief. 1. Everett Anderson holds the hand of his mama until he falls asleep and dreams about Daddy in his chair and at the park and everywhere. Daddy, always laughing, or never. Just Daddy, Daddy, forever and ever. 2. I don't love baby Evelyn, and I don't love Mr. Perry too, and I don't love Christmas or Santa Claus, and I don't love candy, and I don't love you. Well, Everett, his mama sighs, who do you love? And he cries and cries. 3. I promise to learn my 9 times 9 and never sleep late or gobble my bread if I can see Daddy walking and talking and waving his hand and turning his head. I will do everything you say if Daddy can be alive today. Everett Anderson tries to sleep, but it is too hard, and the hurt is too deep. Everett Anderson likes his food, but how can a dinner do any good? Everett Anderson just sits staring, wondering what's the use of caring. Everett Anderson just sits staring, wondering what's the use of caring. After a little bit of time, Everett Anderson says, I know my daddy loved me through and through. And whatever happens when people die, love doesn't stop, and neither will I. My daddy loved me through and through. And whatever happens when people die, love doesn't stop, and neither will I. The end. This final book about Everett Anderson from Lucille Clifton has been around for over 40 years. People who read it usually find it valuable to talk about the book when they finish. Grown-ups and young learners can have those kind of conversations about books that matter. This book has been Everett Anderson's Goodbye. Lucille Clifton wrote this book, and Grifalconi did the drawings.